What is going on, everyone? Welcome to Party on Broad. It is Combine Week. We are talking everything Philadelphia Eagles draft targets, top storylines, biggest winners, things like that. We're also going to give 3 more Eagles free agent targets everyone should know about. Joining us, Ryan Reese at Philly Sports PSA. What's up, Ryan?
Not much, man. Absolutely love the Combine. I tape it. I overanalyze it. I watch it way too much. Yeah, this is great. I love it.
Absolutely. Not much. I mean, it's mostly just team meetings and tests and measurables. And then really the meat and potatoes starts Friday with those on-field drills. Also joining us, my man, Rob Lange at Philly_Madness. What's going on, Rob?
Yeah, as far as the Combine for me, I never watch it. I never record it. I never go back and see what's going on. But with that said, I am going to partake in a little bit more this year. I've already done some scouting work. You're going to be surprised. I'm going to throw out names there's no way in hell you would expect me to be throwing out today, just because I did some reading, some light reading I've done.
All right.
To get things going. No, my shirt says Miami, not mommy.
Yeah, listen, didn't you know Pat Burrell was in the house today?
But as I will say, this is shout out to my boy. It's on the back. All right, shout out to my boy, my godson Tate Darius, pitching down there now as a freshman, dominating, doing well. So big shout outs to him.
All right. We got Antonio in the house. What's going on, man? I love your comments on all our videos, man. Thank you so much. We've got John in the house. What's going on, John? First time here. Love it. Combine starts all week. The players are figuring out. But the measurements and stuff will be going on. There's going to be interviews with teams all week. But the on-field drills, I don't believe, starts until Friday. Marshawn says, Rob, you dressed like Bubba Ray Dudley.
Get the tables.
And then we got the draft at the end of April. Guys, we're talking more specific Eagles-related content. After the Combine, Ryan and I already have a ton of Eagles-related draft content in the works. I've been putting out shorts all yesterday, all today, and more tomorrow of just guys that I think, top names, everyone should know. And it's going to be a lot of fun. And we also have a really special guest that's going to be joining Ryan and I. And if you're big on Eagles Twitter, you already know who it is. Yeah. Because he's been on the show many times. Who's the edge rusher from Arkansas? Landon Jackson. He's going to come up for sure tonight. What's going on, Rufus? And Gunnar Helms, 2 big targets.
I would too. I like where his head's at, linebacker and tight end. I mean, that's literally what I am. I love it.
We got Daniel. What's going on, Daniel? Happy Monday. Speaking of, what's going on, DeBona, Philly Sports Network's finest. Go check him out. Writes amazing work on the Philadelphia Eagles. We're gonna get it. We're gonna deep dive into a lot of these guys. And John says he is pumped for the draft. Let's get into our first segment of the night. What's the biggest storyline? What's the biggest storyline heading into the Combine? I'll lead us off here. For me, it is without a doubt, what the hell is Travis Hunter? I think we're all wondering. I've been covering the draft for probably about 5 years, writing about it, doing videos on it. And Travis Hunter, man, I don't know if there's a more interesting prospect than this guy. He has classified as a DB heading into Indy. He's a blue chip talent, blue chip athlete. No one questions that. He's a Garrett Wilson clone at wide receiver. He's a Darius Slay clone as a corner. The question is, what level can Hunter do both as a professional? I'm super curious how teams view him. I think the plan is to develop him as a corner. Can that really work? On the other end, this guy has such rare ability at either position. This is a rare case where the guy's football IQ, his athleticism, his character is just so off the charts. I think the draft begins and ends with what we're going to get out of Travis Hunter, because it's a very weak draft. At the top, I think the strengths of this draft are the depth at certain positions with specific Eagles positions really helps the Philadelphia Eagles. But at the top, where I'm not a big fan of these quarterbacks, Travis Hunter's there. I just don't know really what he is. Any thoughts on that, Ryan?
Yeah, listen, this is the first time in quite a while we've had a player that kind of brings an extra dynamic to him, playing both sides and the fact that he wants to play both sides. And that's a big, selling point for him. It's absolutely kind of how he goes through this process, I think, is also going to be interesting. Is he solely only allowed to do one position? Is this going to be something that perhaps they look at in the future for future, two-way players? Is this something that, is a flash in the pan, or is this something that we might be seeing more of in the future? I agree. This is definitely one of the top storylines with Travis Hunter.
He's an amazing athlete. He has gotten beat quite a bit in 2024, which is interesting considering, I think that's his position in the NFL, corner. Rufus says Charles Woodson 2.0. I want to see where Hunter goes. Can't trust anyone with two first names. Darius Alexander, Chad. We're going to be deep diving into Darius Alexander very soon, I promise. Marshawn says he's at the maximum for the number of white boy names.
Fair enough.
Very true.
Fair enough.
And
I honestly think what you're going to end up seeing with him, I think that they said he's going to the combine as a defensive back, right? Isn't that what he's going to work out with the defensive back?
Corner. Yep.
I think what you'll see with him, especially early in his career, is he's going to be a defensive back, but there's going to be a handful of plays on whatever team he's on that he's in the offensive game plan. More than say what a Deion Sanders was in the offensive game. But, I think that they're going to want to get him to establish himself in the NFL at one position and then give you that he's got that X factor to go out there and be a wide receiver for you for 5 to 10 snaps a game and make a difference. And I wouldn't be surprised if that's what they went with early and if it ended up kind of becoming the long-term plan with him.
Yeah.
Yep.
Agreed.
Antonio, my big storyline, like every year, who's going to have the off the field issues? Who's that? Laramie Tunsil issues.
Yeah. Can Abdul Carter please smoke some weed before the draft?
Get him a face.
No. See, that's not good enough. I want him smoking some crack. We gotta have him fall all the way down, baby.
Damn. I mean, he might fall completely out of the league, man. Jesus. I think just took a turn on us here.
All right. Settle down there, Ryan Braun. All right.
My other big storyline is, we've talked ad nauseum already on our mock drafts and different shows, Armchair Scouts on Eagles Pinpoint Network, but I think this running back and tight end class is super deep. And I'm really excited to see these guys test. We all know about Ashton Genty, but he's not the only big-time running back available. You have guys like Omarion Hampton that has a lot of first-round buzz. He's big and explosive. He can catch the ball, make defenders miss. He's one to watch. And then you have a guy like Caleb Johnson. Ryan, as you know, I have been a huge fan of. I'm a little bit biased. I was Team Iowa all year. He's a future star in the NFL. He's an amazing athlete with off-the-charts contact balance, really good juice. He's a guy that fits a need for a team that wants to run a lot of outside zone, and I think he's going to have a lot of success. Then you got guys like Quinshon Judkins that I think is a chain mover, a very well-balanced prospect, a guy that has the ability to thrive in pass pro. He is explosive. And then you have a guy like the Lightning to Judkins Thunder, Travion Henderson, a home run hitter, elite acceleration, explosive athlete. He's your guy that gets you big chunks. And I think you've got crazy depth. Oregon's Jordan James, Tennessee's Dylan Sampson, UCF's RJ Harvey, Arizona State's Cam Scottaboo. The competition after Ashton Genty is crazy good. And then you get to tight end, man. we all know about Tyler Warren. He's a guy that is unstoppable on those seams, in those crossers. He's got the size, the catch radius, the physicality, the run blocking, and toughness. He checks all of the boxes. He's right in that tier, just underneath Brock Bowers. That's how high I am on him. I don't think he's a blue chip athlete, but I think he's a very special tight end. And then you've got a guy like Colston Loveland, just an uber athlete, a chess piece for any offensive coordinator, a guy who's going to run option routes, whip routes. He can move all around the formation. He can get in and out of his breaks, super athletic, can make you miss after the catch. He loves to play multiple positions. He's going to bring a lot to an NFL offense. And then just like running back, you've got guys like Mason Taylor, guys like Gunnar Helm, guys like Terrence Ferguson, guys like Harold Fannin Jr., like running back, man. It is so freaking deep. That's why I said, like, the strength of this draft. And we're going to go more in depth on all of these guys later, but it's those guys. Like, day 2 is amazing. I'm actually team trade back for the Eagles this year, depending on how the board falls. But defensive line, tight end, running back, it is loaded on day 2. Ryan, what are your storylines?
Well, considering you just took 78 of them.
Jesus.
Remember all those cool names I was going to bring up? I'm pretty sure they all just got brought up.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. Why not? Len Bias is a beast. Just, needs to settle it down there. Yeah, listen. Aubrey Huff down there is right. You did just name like every player that he knows.
Are you just looking up Miami baseball players and just saying every name?
No, I don't need to look them up. I know them.
That's pathetic.
It is a little bit, but yeah, listen, I think obviously I always look at the quarterbacks and who's throwing, what they're going to be doing, who thinks they already, supplanted them or planted themselves as a top guy, and who still needs to get out there and throw. That's certainly one as just an overall. For the Eagles, it's going to be the edge. And it's going to be who are those that second tier kind of guys that are going to pop off, that rise, that come into that play at 32 should we still have the pick. And those are the things that I'm going to be looking at is obviously, yes, we know the top names. We'd love an Abdul Carter. That would be fantastic. Not going to happen. But I want to see how, kind of after that, how that plays out, because one of those guys could be the guy at 32.
Yep. We have a comment here saying, where do you guys think Ashton Genty's ending up in this draft? Over under 9.5, Ryan. Do you think he goes over under?
Over.
Oh, I think it's slightly over.
Yeah, I think he's mid. I think he's somewhere between 12 and 16. Yeah, I think it's where he goes.
It's some, but I will say somebody will overdraft.
Man, yes. I disagree, guys. I disagree.
Top 10?
I think, man, you look at Bijan. I think he's right there with Bijan. Bijan went 8 to the Falcons in 2023. That's a really interesting comp. Not comparing the two, but two complete running backs. Guys
I still even think they went too high. Atlanta. So maybe it's just I just don't necessarily feel like a top 10 pick is warranted with all of the talent. You look at Saquon. You look at the two biggest free agents this year, sure. Derrick Henry, Saquon Barkley. The running back position is back, man. Right. So you got to wait till the second contract to go get those guys.
Absolutely.
Don't draft them.
Yep.
Antonio says, I love Hampton. I like Caleb Johnson. I'm a big Caleb Johnson guy. Quinshawn got that two-face Harvey Dent look to him. That's a stud. Some Rodriguez out of Miami love. He's like a day 2, day 3 guy. We got a lot of Fannin Jr. love going on.
Love to see it, baby.
Tyler Warren, Fannin Jr. This is a huge week for Harold Fannin Jr.
Yeah. This is where the world
they're going to learn about him.
Who he is.
Yeah, he's an elite athlete. Colston Loveland runs scams. Antonio's also team trade back. Jack Sawyer Scorton.
Listen. They're going to trade back unless somebody falls a la like a Nolan Smith who was thought to go 10 and then is there at 30. This team is not picking at 32 unless something like that happens. They're not going to do it. They will trade back and they will get more picks.
Let's just go there. Where are we at, guys? Do you think the Eagles trade up, stay put, or trade back?
I'll just kind of finish that thought. Is you know this team when they picked at 31 a couple years ago, they traded out of the first round. This is a perfect spot, and like you said, with the day 2, day 3 picks, kind of giving you a little bit more in terms of value, and the fact that they don't have a pick in round 6 and 7. I definitely see the Eagles, like the way that the Eagles board is going to be, the guy that they're going to take at 32 is probably not much different than a guy they take at, say, 40 or 42. Yeah. So if they get an offer by somebody moving up because they really want, I don't know, maybe there's a run on a certain position. I think the Eagles are going to trade back. I think Howie is looking to trade back unless you get a Quinyon Mitchell falls, something like that, where a guy that's not supposed to fall to you does actually fall to you, and then you're going to obviously take that guy. Sure. But if they don't have a first round grade on anybody that's left, I expect us all to watch 5.5 hours of the first round just to watch the Eagles trade out of the pick at 32.
Yeah, I think they're trading out. I think they're going to trade back, like you said, unless something happens like a Nick Scorton or something along those, like a Walter Nolan falls. Guys that can go inside and out on that D line are available. Maybe they even slightly trade up. But if I had to guess right now, I think they trade back given the strength and depth of this draft. Ryan, where you at?
Yeah, listen, I agree with Yasmani Grandel over there. I think all signs point to them trading back, but I kind of have this feeling that, like, listen, strike while the iron is still hot. You have a very young defense, and if there is a guy that's starting to slip, I could definitely see Howie kind of bopping up 5 or so picks, grabbing his guy, and adding to the plethora that is this young defense. I could easily see it for sure. But again, if I had to put money on it, I'd go with trade back.
This draft is also a crapshoot. I think there's like a solid group at the top, but I don't specifically have any quarterback, in my top 20. And I think if once you get to like after 10 or so, I think it's all over the place. We have seen that. If you go and look at different evaluations and mock drafts, and there's guys all over the place. All over the place.
Wildly.
Guys that do not make sense. Like my opinion on guys compared to, the main people out there doing this for a living, is so different. This is a very weird draft.
Well, I got to tell you, when we talk about storylines, the one that I was going to bring up is Jalen Walker out of Georgia. And is he a stand-up linebacker? Is he an edge rusher? What is his better position going to be? And I honestly think his workout this week is going to be huge for him one way or the other. Like, I think he could be a guy that falls if he works out and he just has like an okay workout or a good workout. Like, he's a very intriguing player because of the versatility, which is a good thing, but it also could hurt him a little bit. I personally think he's more of a stand-up linebacker than he is an edge rusher, but a lot of people around the NFL want to call this guy an edge rusher. So it's going to be really intriguing how he works out this week and what it does to his draft stock.
Yeah, Ryan, who's your boy?
Yeah, listen, Gabby Sanchez makes a great point. I think he is an outside linebacker.
Is that a woman?
No.
She just called me a woman.
No. You don't know Gabby Sanchez? Come on, for the Yankees?
Oh yeah, I hate the Yankees. I don't look at the Yankees.
I hate the Yankees too, but I still know who it is. Listen, I got like maybe 3 more. I'm pulling.
Really unbelievable. I'm not even mad. That's amazing.
John Jay. Oh, there we go. There's another.
I like Jalen Walker. I think he can do both. I think in Vic Fangio's system, he fits really well. Rob, my answer is yes. Georgia used him in a lot of different roles. He can drop back into coverage as well. He's an elite athlete. Personally, I have him, I think, great. I'm trying to find where I have him as my number 15 prospect in this draft. But he's yet another guy like Nick Scott and Walter Nolan that should be on a short list of guys. Like, if he's available, does Howie maybe strike and slightly trade up and get? Because he's an elite playmaker.
I love it.
Yeah, sounds like somebody that would fit well into the tool bag for Vic Fangio going forward.
Yep. Rufus says Ashton Genty is a Raider. Antonio says, I think one of those teams will want to trade up and get Jackson Dart. I agree with this, Antonio. I think the surprise dark horse for the first round could be Jackson Dart.
And I got murdered.
I think it's a major mistake. Whoever does that.
I agree. I fully agree.
It's a major mistake.
But I got murdered for grabbing Jackson Dart in like the 6th round or some crap. Meanwhile, he's probably going to be a first rounder.
Yeah.
Steve Rose says, imagine Amar and Hampton backing up Barkley.
No, thank you.
Not happening.
Will Shipley, baby? Come on.
I don't even care. I don't even care if the two of you are the backups. I have no interest in grabbing a running back that early.
Steve wants a two-headed monster at running back.
Nah,
Kenny Gainwell and Saquon Barkley.
Oh man,
What are you guys talking about?
Yonder Alonso has a lot of funny jokes tonight.
Peter is on team Walter Nolan.
Let's freaking go.
Nolan next to Carter would be dangerous. I agree. I love the thought process. It's adding to Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter, just keeping that rotation the best in football. That was the bread and butter of the Eagles defense.
Nolan and Carter.
Yep. All right, there you go, Rob. I want this team to get Myles Garrett. What if they trade the first pick for Myles Garrett? Rob, I'd put this out on YouTube. Jordan Davis, pick number 32, and a future second rounder for Myles Garrett. Would you do it?
Yes.
What about you, Ryan?
Oh.
Ryan, just say yes. You know you want to say yes.
I feel.
Here's the funny thing about this fan base.
No. Before you go ahead, okay, Chris Perez, and throw me along.
No. I wasn't going to throw you. I was looking at the poll when I said that.
Okay,
I was looking at the poll when I said that.
Okay. Again, I don't think we can afford to trade away another D tackle with a D tackle that's already a free agent. And the fact that we're missing out on a first round pick that could be a replacement for that free agent D tackle. So now you are literally left with Jalen Carter and Jomo. I don't like that one bit. I mean, I get it. Myles Garrett, he's fantastic, all that. But he also does, require a good amount of money. So
there is also this thing called free agency.
I get it. But again, you're not going to have that much money when you're paying a guy that much money.
You don't have that much flexibility, man.
That's
the entire point of drafting these guys and having them under team control.
Understood. But if there's anybody who can create cap flexibility.
Listen, I got it. I'm just saying the Jordan Davis part of it, it's not Jordan Davis specifically. It's D tackle specific. If you tell me another position, okay, I can get behind that. I don't want to hamper us at one position just to build up another.
And that's how I roll. That's a valid point. The people voting in that poll are not doing it that way. They're looking at it and going, "Oh no, not Jordan Davis." They're the same people who for 17 weeks ripped Jordan Davis and talked about how much he wasn't any good. And now I agree. It's just, it drives me nuts. It drives me insane.
Believe me, you're 100%. That's exactly how people do it. They bash 1 second, and then the second you want to take away, they're on top of you.
Rufus is trying to pull on the heartstrings of one Chris Dibes right now.
Which one? Which one?
Right there.
I'm driving Jordan's
4 sacks to the airport. Thank God we got him and not Hamilton.
Oh my God.
Come on.
I mean, Jordan Davis was so underrated during the playoffs, man. He was so solid. I never understood the Jordan Davis hate. I mean, we called that out on the show so many times. We got my man Phil saying, "No way, I'm trading enough to get Miles, but 32 and Davis, sure." So take it easy there, Captain Miami. All right, I am obviously team no. Ryan team no. Rob team yes. Yeah, let's roll on to our next segment, and that is player. Let's just talk Eagles draft targets with the most to win and guys with the most to lose. Who wants to go first?
Eagles draft targets with the most to win. You said, hold on, I'm pulling up my notes here.
Could be guys that, it could be guys that are kind of on your radar. I guess I'll take this one for sure. There's a lot of really interesting ones. And the guy that I don't think we talk a lot about, but I have on our show here is Darius Alexander. He's a guy that's 6'4", 310 pounds. He's really intriguing because he's got elite athleticism, great length, 34-inch arms, prototypical build for an interior defensive lineman. Again, an explosive athlete. If there's one thing that Howie consistently does in the draft is overvalue RES scores, raw athletic scores. And this guy is going to blow up the combine. He's a guy that can play inside and out. Definitely fits the bill for that Vic Fangio system. Could be a Milton Williams replacement going forward. And we already saw what happened with Quinyon Mitchell. This guy was Quinyon Mitchell's teammate just 1 year ago coming out of Toledo. I'm really curious how his explosiveness testing looks. He checks off all the NFL size boxes, all that versatility, all that athleticism. I just think he's got Eagles written all over him. And I don't know if people are going to be excited about that in the first round. We'll see. But I think this is his moment coming out of Toledo. The difference is when Quinyon played at Toledo, he was straight dominant. He was dominant every step of the way. Darius Alexander, how great those measurables are, did not match the production whatsoever on the field, which makes you kind of wonder why. And to be honest, I don't know. That is definitely something we're going to be talking about for the next couple of months. So for me, the most to win starts with Darius Alexander.
Oh, are you saying that because I guess having such a great combine puts him now into the conversation at 32?
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, and I mean, he was, I don't think, a first-round talent whatsoever before the Senior Bowl, and he was dominant during the Senior Bowl. Go check out my winners on defense for the Senior Bowl, and if he follows that up with another great combine, I think he definitely pushes himself into the conversation.
Yeah.
Yep.
I got one. one.
Oh, hey, Greg Vaughn has one. Let's go.
Greg Vaughn. Now you're calling me heavy? Unbelievable. He was a big man.
Not when he was
Greg Vaughn was a big
Miami.
man. Anyway, I can't pronounce the guy's name. I'm going to give it a go. I'm going to stay on. I'm going to do an edge rusher here, and I'm going to go out to Ohio State and 3-year starter J2 Tui Malauau.
Tui Malauau.
Yeah, that one, Malauau. And what I like about him was he played on both ends of the line. He played on the right end of the left side. He sometimes stood up. He sometimes kicked inside. He is more of a pass rusher, right? He's not necessarily the best against the run. But you don't need the 1A guy, okay? You need the Robin to the Nolan Smith Batman, if you may. You need a guy that could be a rotational edge rusher. And here's a guy that I think you could get maybe on day 2. And he's a guy that I think could come in and make an impact for you as part of that rotation on the edge. And he, coming out of Ohio State.
JT is really fascinating. I have Jack Sawyer ranked a little higher than him.
Yep.
JT is just a little bit lower, mostly because of the consistency. We've seen it the last 2 years. Like JT, when he is on, he looks like the best player on the field. Like he is dominant. But then he's just, has those lapses where he's not as impactful. So for me, I agree, Rob. I think he's more of a day 2 guy, but he's definitely on the list of guys that could blow up, trying to kind of push his name into that first round conversation.
Yeah, easily.
A lot of JT, Love, great call.
Just call me the draft guru, guys. Just call me the
John
draft
wants
guru.
to know about Landon Jackson. Let's get into Landon Jackson. He is absolutely on my list. Landon Jackson, elite size. He's the guy like off the bus, as they say, like 6'7", great athleticism, huge frame, fast mover, explosive jumper. His Senior Bowl was somewhat disappointing. He had flashes of very good play and then not so much. We all know he's got elite physical traits. He's just got a lot of seasoning. He needs a lot of work technique-wise. You could easily see him being a first-round pick. He's got a great versatility to be an otter, even front at the next level. 3-down upside, no doubt about it, once kind of the speed of the NFL comes to him. But he's not ready yet. I think he's a situational pass rusher right now. But down the road, absolutely. He's got some amazing upside. I definitely think he's in play for the Philadelphia Eagles at 32.
Yeah, there's a bunch that are just fit that Landon Jackson mold that are kind of just going to teeter in between that first and second round that fit the bill for edge. And we saw it last year where there were a bunch of guys that, even after the combine that just kind of snuck up and kept sneaking up and then just got themselves into, the first round. Perfect example, Arizona Cardinals drafted Darius Robinson. This is a guy that Dives, you were on before me, but we both saw that the rise of this guy was consistent and just kept happening, and he got himself into the first round. That I feel like that's absolutely going to happen once again for a few of these guys that are in that kind of, maybe they're a day 2, maybe they can sneak in. We'll see.
Yep. Antonio says Jahad Campbell. I'm a big fan of his. He's terrific, man. Modern linebacker, no doubt about it. The other guy I want to bring up is Shamar Stewart. And Ryan, I've been calling it for a long time now. Very similar to the guy we just talked about. Right. Whereas the measurables don't exactly equal the production on the field. But you look at the size, 6'5", 280, positional versatility. You can play edge, shift inside. I think he'll play a lot of inside with the Philadelphia Eagles in certain situations. But he's going to blow up at the combine. He's an elite athlete, but he only has 4.5 sacks in 3 seasons at Texas A&M, which is why the size and length. He's the block shedding. He's a guy that can hold his ground at the point of attack. I just don't get it. So he's definitely a name to watch. Yet another guy that needs a lot of seasoning going forward. But would Howie just roll the dice on this guy with 6'6" size and frame and length and mold him? And we saw what happened with Nolan.
Yeah, for sure.
I have a new toy for Jeff Stoutland.
Let's do it.
That I believe is a guy that's going to take a look, but he could be your heir apparent at right tackle. He's got versatility, could play all 5 positions possibly, and that is out of Purdue. Marcus, I believe the M is silent in the last name. Marcus Bowe. Marcus Bowe is a guy. He's got short arms, so that doesn't necessarily bode well. But he's an athlete. Okay, he's excellent at pulling blocks. He can make any block. He's a good pass protector, but he's very much like we're talking about with some of these other guys. He's not seasoned yet. He needs some time. Well, guess what? You have that time because Lane Johnson is still here for another year or 2. So this could be the new reclamation project of Jeff Stoutland to build this guy up and make him turn into your starting right tackle for years to come, possibly. This is the type of draft. This is the type of year where the Eagles could do this at 32 or with their first pick in the second round, pick that offensive tackle, the future, and worry about everything because they're not going to be picking the plug and play necessarily, depending on how free agency goes. So I wouldn't be surprised to see the Eagles take an early pick on an offensive tackle, a guy that's not quite ready, but you put him under Jeff Stoutland for 2 years, and he could be ready. And I think that Bo could be the guy that falls into that little bucket for them.
Yeah, I got pretty killed on my big board for not having a lot of offensive linemen on there. I am so down on the group this year. I think that being said, just like quarterback, there's going to be guys overdrafted, in my opinion.
Yeah,
at this point in time.
Always is. No matter what, no matter how good they are, people always need offensive linemen and will always overdraft them regardless.
Yep. So I like that guy, but he's not even remotely close to like my top 50. No, same for Josh Connolly Jr. Just not that high on him. I think he's more of a day 2 guy, like late day 2 guy. The guy that I think has Eagles written all over him, if we're talking a dark horse for number 32, and I said this before already, but give me Gray Zabel, a guy that's 6'6", 305 pounds, an absolute mauler when it comes to run blocking, has played all 5 positions at North Dakota State. He'll probably primarily play guard or center early on. But, I mean, I imagine how he looks at this guy. He's a phenomenal athlete, can get to the second level, just needs to clean it up a little bit. But I imagine how he's looking at this guy that he can just plug and play whenever you need him. And, keep an eye on Gray Zabel, another guy that I think is the top offensive lineman in the draft.
Yeah, he's certainly rising up boards, that's for sure. Speaking of another riser, I'm going to add linebacker Carson Schwessinger.
Oh, I love it.
This is a guy that kind of wasn't really all that known, and again, slowly but surely has got himself a name. And honestly, I think there is a slight outside possibility that he, kind of sneaks in to that first round. He's got great sideline to sideline range, really hot, kind of has that, that tough dog mentality that, Nick loves chasing down ball carriers, has great body control and balance, great tackler, and really kind of drives through contact. He's a little bit on the small side, and could use some bulking up, but you kind of can't go against the natural ability of this kid and the heart that he seems to kind of show out there on the field. So he's a dude that could definitely go to the combine and blow up and get himself into the first round conversation. Yeah,
I'll be honest. He wasn't even on my radar. UCLA was so disappointing last year. I will tell you, I didn't watch a lot of UCLA games.
Same. It wasn't until after the fact.
And I was surprised to see his numbers, and his tape is amazing.
Yeah,
he's definitely a modern linebacker. He could fit what Vic Fangio wants to do. Pump Man says we hit our limit on good white guys.
There is no such thing.
But Schwessinger he has an amazing explosiveness, can go after the quarterback. He can drop back in coverage. His tape is really good. He's a guy that can do a lot of things. So in terms of a linebacker that fits what the Eagles want to do, he's right, definitely on that list. And I agree, Ryan. I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid just yet.
Sure.
I need to see a little more. I'm not going to rely on what YouTube tells me on him. I honestly don't know a lot about him. So we'll learn more.
Yeah, same. Well, like I said, he's certainly a name that's been rising up lately.
He's popping.
And I am always very hesitant on those types where, if I'm not hearing much about you during the season, but now all of a sudden I am after the season, like, why is that? So I certainly want to do more homework on him, and we'll be paying attention to him at the combine show. Everybody's better than Devin White.
Is he better than Devin White?
Alex Cora down there, he'll tell you.
That's rude. That's rude.
Gray Zabel, he's awesome, man. Daniel, go check out Gray Zabel. He's on my list for sure.
If
we're going offensive line for the Eagles, for me personally, in round one, it's Gray Zabel. That's my take. Ryan doesn't like white linebackers. Michael Williams from Georgia. I like Michael. I just don't know what his fit is with the Philadelphia Eagles defense because he's so raw, but he's an elite athlete. He's a guy that you can mold into what you want out of him. And I think he can. We just don't know because he didn't drop back into coverage very often with the Georgia Bulldogs. I'm going to give you one more name that I think everyone should know. I've got a lot more, but the one guy that I think is so interesting, and I've got a first-round grade on him, is Siobhan Ravel Jr. If you're looking for a Darius Slay replacement going forward, that's kind of a low-key need for the Philadelphia Eagles. I think this is your dude. He's going to run really well. He's already credited for running in the low 4.4s in the 40-yard dash. He had an 11-foot broad jump during a previous prospect camp. He was a top 20 projected pick heading into 2024 and then suffered a torn ACL in September. So we didn't really get to see a lot of him for Eastern Carolina this year, but East Carolina. But I think the physicals, the measurables are all there. And from everything we know, he's on track for training camp. And as a prospect, he's a super physical corner. He can move fast. He can hit like a Mack truck. Major ball production, elite length and size. Definitely projects as a starting outside corner. So if you are looking for a corner, there's a decent amount of them. Like Benjamin Morrison's another solid one. But I think Siobhan Ravel, if he and the medicals clear, I think that's a big name that could be on the Eagles' radar for a guy that could battle Keely Ringo opposite Quinyon Mitchell. So definitely Ravel. If you haven't heard of him, go check him out. Puntman says my favorite O-line is Armand Membo. He is so good, man. He's another guy that I think will start on the interior, but I think, he's 6'3", but his length is crazy, man. He's a very good athlete as well. Go get more friends of Jalen Carter. Absolutely. East Carolina. I think
he maybe just missed my top 5 CBs.
Okay.
I think.
All right, let's get to our next segment, sleepers. Who are some sleepers for the Eagles in the combine? Ryan, do you want to start, or do you want me to start?
You can. You're rattling off a crap ton of names here. I don't want to.
I'm out of names.
Block.
It's all good, Rob.
I had the tight end from Bowling Green. That was that was my guy.
Dives ruined your whole evening in the first 3 minutes of talking about the storyline.
Couldn't wait to talk about that guy because I was like, these guys are not going to believe I know about a tight end out of Bowling Green. And within 3 minutes of the show, my moment was stripped away, and now I'm just gonna sleep just like this. I'm just gonna go to sleep and listen to you guys.
What? All right, we're getting to Eagles free agent target soon. This is our last segment on the combine. All right, starting off with Antoine Powell-Ryland, an edge rusher.
Oh, wow. And then you're going to steal my dude.
I asked you if you wanted to go first, man.
I'm just saying. I didn't think you were going to be nasty
I'm in the middle here. I allow it. Dibes, continue.
I mean, he just was dominant last year. He had 16 sacks, tied for sixth most in tackles for loss with 19. He's not an elite athlete. He's got average size, but in terms of just getting after the quarterback, he's got a hell of a bag, counters, you name it. He's a very he's got a pass rush repertoire is what I'm trying to say. So the concerns at the combine is his numbers are probably going to be pretty bad, which is kind of a concern with someone that doesn't have good size and speed. And I mean, you're basically just taking a situational polished pass rusher. So that's definitely a day 3 guy that everyone should keep an eye on. Ryan, any thoughts on Antoine Powell Ryland?
Yeah, this guy is definitely one of my favorite, day 3 edge guys. For a brief moment in time, he led the nation in sacks at Virginia Tech, and yeah, he just is constantly getting after the quarterback. I think he certainly needs some refinement on potentially some, upgrading moves and whatnot. But for what he does it really well. He just needs to kind of add a little versatility to kind of fill out his game. But I really do like him coming in, drafting late, and being a situational pass rusher for sure.
Yep. Steve says, do you like the linebacker from Bama? Jahad Campbell's awesome.
God.
He's a first-round prospect.
This dude.
Malachi sucks at safety. He's awesome. Malachi Starks, yeah, I agree. His 2024 tape was definitely down compared to his 2023 tape, but I still think he's a top 10 prospect. I think he's elite.
I'll take him in a heartbeat.
Yep. If he's there, you absolutely take him. Of course, they won't, and I'll be upset during our draft show.
Of course.
As always. Jalen Royals are kind of home. Awesome guys to know. Jared Ivey, love Jared Ivey. Big time sleeper for sure.
Yeah.
Elijah Royal. I love it. I'm a big fan of Elijah Royal. I think he's got elite upside.
He is working out at the combine. He is not working out at the combine.
Yes.
I saw that today.
As the guy wearing the Miami shirt.
I know about Miami.
Yeah, we know. we sure do know that. Yeah, I ran out of guys. I'm sorry.
All right. Mason Taylor.
I was just hitting the wrong button there, Marshawn. I was just hitting the wrong button. I like Mason Taylor. I love the idea of pedigree. I love the idea of pedigree of a Mason Taylor. With the father being Jason Taylor.
Yeah.
He's good, man. He split time. He was on the line. He was, he set in motion a lot. He's an intriguing name to me.
Yeah. Definitely. Jackson Hawes, tight end from Georgia Tech.
Jackson Hawes, nice.
Day 3 guy. Another Iowa tight end. They seem to pump them out. Luke Lachey. I'm pretty high on Gavin Bartholomew from Pitt. He's like a super deep cut. I don't
know if you could trust a guy with the name Bartholomew.
Well,
Bartholomew doesn't work for me.
Yeah. I need more. I need to look into more on Arroyo. Again, he's a name that for me came out of nowhere, and I need to know why. Yeah. So until I figure that out, he's like, man.
The draft is a beast, man. Cover this all year. Like the draft last year ended, and I was covering guys, literally doing preseason rankings and all that crap. And like a guy like Carson Schlesinger, like I had no idea.
Yeah.
Linebacker.
His story wasn't Schlesinger. Wasn't he a walk-on?
Yes, he was.
And he was a walk-on, and it was like all of a sudden, like it wasn't until like the 4th game of the year where they started him, and he still had like a shit ton of tackles by the end of the year.
Yeah. There's also another guy, Demetrius Knight Jr., that's climbing up, the draft boards as we speak. Keep an eye out for that. I watched a lot of South Carolina. I didn't notice him. But anyway, let's roll on. My other underrated sleeper to watch. I have the new Kenny Gainwell for Ryan. His name is Brashard Smith, running back for SMU. He was a former wide receiver, and he's got a lot of juice, man. He has a lot of comp to Tyrone Tracy for the New York Giants. He's a dual threat running back. He had over 1,300 rushing yards, 14 touchdowns last season. Also caught 4 touchdowns and 327 yards receiving. He's very new to the position, but he shows outstanding vision, quickness. He's small at 5'9", but he plays a lot bigger than that at 195 pounds. He's definitely got the frame to add more bulk going forward. And he's only got 253 carries in 4 seasons, so he's fresh. So keep an eye out on Brashard Smith. as a day 3 guy that I think would fit really well with the Eagles.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, they didn't do a lot of running in SMU, but yeah, when they did, he certainly popped. I'd say right now he's probably
That's outstanding.
well, wait, what was the first one? Was Tyler Warren sold me crypto? I'd have to say he is in my. I think he maybe just made my top 20.
Yeah.
Smith did so.
Yeah, he's solid.
Well, that's
and
for
then,
sure.
And then I don't know if it's a sleeper, but if you look at the rankings, the consensus rankings, give me Danny Stutzman.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I don't know why he's rated this low.
He's in my top 50, dude. And he's 6'4". He's a throwback linebacker, an elite run defender, 127 run stops the last 3 years. That was 27 more than the second-ranked linebacker in college. He's not going to blow you away with his 40-yard dash, but the guy never comes off the field. He's a straight baller, big-time leader, elite production for a big-time program for years. Like literally the second he put on an Oklahoma jersey, he has been elite. I just don't understand the criticism of Danny Stutzman. I don't know. And like for me, I am all in. Like if he's there for day 2 for the Birds, go for it.
Yeah. I liked Pumper. I liked Jack Kaiser too for Notre Dame.
Yeah, he's nice.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of his as well.
Would you look at Swinson out of LSU? I love his tape.
Swanson. Samson.
I knew it started with an S though.
Sorry, I couldn't help myself. I have a problem.
Braden Swinson. I
am unfamiliar with him.
I have not looked into him. I don't have any comment on him.
I have nothing to say about him.
All right, let's roll on. Anybody have any other takes on the draft before we get into free agency targets for the Birds?
Nope.
All right. Let's get to Eagles free agency targets. We did 3 last week. We have 3 new ones this week. And I think we've got some really fun names this week. Who wants to go first?
Rob, you haven't said anything in about 8 minutes. Go ahead.
No, I don't want to go first. You guys go. No, I will. Well, obviously, last week I talked about Myles Garrett. I'm going to stick at this edge position because I feel like this has to be addressed, whether it be free. In my opinion, it's got to be addressed with a veteran. And I know that a lot of people are going to say, "Oh no, we want to get younger," but I don't think a veteran presence is bad. I'll let Dive talk about his guy. However, I'm going to go Chase Young. Here today. All right. Chase Young is a guy that came out of college. Everybody loved them. Some Chase Young went to Washington, then was traded, was in San Francisco, ends up in New Orleans last year, has 5.5 sacks, but he was on a really bad team. So it's tough to judge a guy when they're on a really bad team. But I would love the idea of Chase Young joining the rotation of edges here. He's still not that old. What's he, 26? I think 27 maybe. I mean, he's not that old of a guy. I think he's still got some juice left 26. In the tank. 26. I think he's got some juice left in the tank, and you put him in the Vic Fangio defense and you let him do his thing, and I think he could be a very productive piece, and he's probably not going to cost you an arm and a leg. I mean, it's going to cost you. You're going to have to pay him a little bit, but I don't think it's going to be outlandish. I think he's a guy worth taking a look at to try and shore up this edge position as the Eagles need to do.
Chase Young for Team Rob. Ryan, do you want to go next or you want me to go next?
Yeah, I'm going to go with linebacker. He's been edge, whatever, but Azeez Ojulari from the New York Giants. He is a pass rush monster. The dude just rushes the pass rush or the quarterback, and he gets sacks. He's gotten 22 over the last 4 seasons. Now he does have a little bit of injury concern, but he's 25 years old. And he's from Georgia. So I think there's a lot of things working. I would assume that he wouldn't cost too much to get. So again, even if, the Bryce Huff, images of him kind of pop in your head, I still don't think at worst, this guy can at least be a situational guy and come in and get a sack when needed. But I think this guy has the ability to come in and be, a 2 or 3 down guy in a rotation and rush the pass rusher and get some sacks.
You want to know why I'd be all for this? Because the Giants were so dumb not to trade him during the season and get something for him that I would love to just take somebody else from them and then let him come here and just dominate. To do that in back-to-back years would just be a dream scenario.
It would be pretty awesome. But yeah. So, but hopefully he can get healthy, stay healthy, and when he's out there, he's very talented. But I think he could come at a cheap price tag, and certainly more than Father Time. Dives' guy that he's about to talk to.
Yeah. I disagree. Dives' guy might be my number one choice for free agency.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Listen, I love this dude 10 years ago.
No, and
he was the defensive player of the year 2 years ago.
Let Dives do his thing, and then I'll tell you why he's kind of like that one guy that I've circled as I would love to see him be. This is albeit outside of a Myles Garrett trade. But go ahead.
Pumpman says also Calais Campbell. That I would love to have him.
Yeah,
absolutely. All right. The guy I'm talking about, literally the exact opposite of what Rob and Ryan discussed. You look at Brandon Graham retiring. You look at Moro Jomo, Jalex Hunt, Nolan Smith. Those snaps are going to increase like crazy next year. How about a 1 year, short prove-it deal for Khalil Mack? Looking at all these guys dominate like Josh Sweat under Vic Fangio. Why don't we add a big name here that wants to come to a Super Bowl contender and play his ass off, get a championship? Last year, didn't have the most elite production he's had in years past. He had 88 pressures in 2023. He's 33 years old. He only had 6 sacks last year, but he was still solid, man. He still, was a one-man wrecking ball in the wild card loss to Houston. He had 6 tackles and 2 sacks in that one. Take it for what it's worth, because PFF has been garbage in recent weeks, but they gave Mack a 90.4 overall grade, which was 5th best among all edge rushers. Just adding a guy like Khalil Mack would be immeasurable, given all the youth that's on the defensive line, as the guys I've already mentioned. It's also important to note that Khalil Mack back in 2018 had a phenomenal year under Vic Fangio in Chicago. That year he had 73 pressures, 13 sacks, 34 run stops. There's not a lot of snaps of Khalil Mack dropping into coverage. There is that. I don't know how the fit would look. But, man, all eyes are on Myles Garrett in that trade market. But how about another star going to a Super Bowl contender in Khalil Mack? Any thoughts, Rob?
Listen, I think you hit it on the head. You could keep your hand up, but you're not talking until I'm done. But look, Brandon Graham probably set to retire. There's a lot of reports that the Eagles are probably going to move on from Darius Slay. You need a leader on that defense with the youth in that room. You need a guy who can make sure that Jalen Carter is not picking up penalties for his antics on the field. To me, Khalil Mack is the type of player that could be a leader, but can also still contribute at a pretty good level for a season or two. I absolutely would do this. To me, it's a no-brainer. I know I see someone put over there, he's going to want a lot of money. I don't think so. I don't think that is Khalil Mack's big thing right now. I think he wants to win. I think Khalil Mack wants to win. So I would be all for this. Go ahead, Ryan. Jesus.
Okay. I would just like to state for the record, Dives, when did you say he won Defensive Player of the Year?
Wasn't it 2 years ago?
It was 2016.
Was
It
it really?
was not 2 years ago. 2 years ago, it was his first, well, I guess, yeah, technically his first year with the Chargers. You might be thinking of last year where he had 17 sacks. Yes, he had a very good year there.
Okay.
Listen, all indication are saying that he is in the market of 20 plus a year, which will take that for whatever it's worth. Even if that's wildly inaccurate, he's still going to probably want 15, right? How he's not going to pay $15 million for that. Just plain and simple. He's not. He's old as hell. He's 34.
I think I read something that this is the first time he's actually
A free agent?
a free agent, like actually on the open market.
Yeah, because then you get traded from the Raiders to the Bears and then the Bears to the Chargers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
7-1 game. Wow. Well, that lowers it for me.
All right. So there we go. Khalil Mack. Do we all?
He wants to come and play for 10 mil or less.
I mean, that's it, right? I mean, that would be a hell of a thing. But anyway, that wraps it up here. We're already over an hour into this thing.
Goodness.
I know. These shows are getting longer and longer. I don't know why.
Yeah, they should be getting shorter and shorter. What the hell's wrong with it?
Ryan, final thoughts on the combine free agency? Go ahead.
Yeah, listen, this is going to be a fun end of the week when we finally start seeing some drills. Between now and the draft, there's going to be plenty of content coming to you guys from the channel. We got a lot of stuff in the works. So please stay tuned for that. We'll be doing some mock drafts coming up again with some fun ideas.
Rob's no prep mock draft is a
might have been the funniest thing in the history of the world last year. Sorry.
I did have high hopes for King. I had high hopes for him back in the day.
Oh my god, that's just not right.
Pop man, I love Nick and Manworthy. He's so good, man.
Oh god. Anyway, yeah, that's all I got. Please make sure you're following everybody here and the channel, of course. We are absolutely flying high right now. Subs are at an all-time high. So please share it with your family, your friends, your enemies. Who cares? Your mailman, doesn't matter. Everybody needs to know.
Don't bother your mailmen. They got that tough enough job. They don't need to be talking to you about podcasts. They don't need it.
So Ryan mentioned it, the draft content. We've got positional rankings coming, and we've got some themed mocks coming. Like the one last year, we did the Howie is Drunk mock draft, where it was a draft that would make you lose your mind during it, but it would actually make some sense as a Howie Roseman draft. Those are my favorite last year. When is it?
I'm in on the mock drafts, damn it.
Yeah.
I want in.
You want in? You're in, man.
Mock drafting.
You're in, man. Ryan kicked my ass last time. Still upset.
That's why I want in. I need to dethrone this dude.
I'm so mad. I thought I crushed Ryan, and he won 73% of the votes.
Ain't happening. I guarantee victory against Ryan in my first mock.
Guaranteed.
Wow, I feel like the people could have a say on that, but yeah, let's put some money up.
Guaranteed.
Marshawn wants to argue Brian. I have a lot of bad takes. You could. It doesn't take a lot of effort to find my bad takes. All right, Rob. Final thoughts: draft and free agency.
Yeah, final thoughts: draft and free agency. I'm gonna try and be better with the draft. I apologize. I was good for about 15 minutes and then I lost it today. Yes, but no, a lot of good content here. We truly appreciate it. We are growing like crazy. We love it. Yeah. You have this show. You have me and Ryan doing a little D2A. You have these gentlemen doing draft coverage as good as anybody around. And we're going to have some more fun stuff coming your way. We actually had a meeting. We discussed it.
Hey.
We'll be bringing it out to you in the coming weeks. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I think, can I tease the one thing?
I don't care.
We're going to have our first ever Party on Broad bracket challenge. We'll explain to you later what it is, but these guys could not believe that I was able to come up with everything in a matter of an hour today.
Yeah.
I went down a rabbit hole instead of teaching.
F them kids.
Like you wouldn't believe to come up with my 64, but really looking forward to that. So make sure you're staying around. Make sure you are subscribing and telling everybody but the mailman to subscribe. Leave that man alone. All right, and you follow me at Philly_Madness. I called Dan Cilio a little boy today on Twitter, which people thought was very funny. I received a text. I received a text from that because I called him a little boy. So you follow me there.
Piece of shit.
Ryan swears Nate Allen, Kirk Coleman was going to change the Eagles.
Oh, come on now. Now you're just making stuff up.
I bought a Nate Allen jersey. I swore by that guy.
Wow.
As a guy who has 90 Eagles jerseys, I have neither those two.
I
Nor
hate Kirk
Nabi
Coleman.
Asamoah. Thank you very much, Marshawn.
I hated Kirk Coleman, but loved me.
Yeah,
No. Oh, I get it because of him. Yes, I agree.
All right. So be on the lookout for stuff. We're going to be jumping into the greatest Eagles plays of all time. We're going to make a bracket. We're going to have a pregame show where we're going to watch all the highlights here, and we're going to seed these things. And you guys are going to help us see the number one seeds, 2, 3. And so we're going to do all 64. We might have a play-in.
And then
I don't know.
We're going to take off Thursday and Friday, and we're going to watch them all. And, oh wait, no.
I have already a hunch of what's going to win. I think.
I think we all.
Yeah, because don't
give it away.
Recency bias is going to come in. There's going to be recency bias for sure in this poll.
Yeah.
Yep. So lots of draft content on the way. I've already loaded the YouTube channel for tomorrow with like 4 shorts on prospects, things like that. I put out my top 50 big board. That's all out on YouTube. Go check that out. And I got a lot of heat about it, but I don't care. That's just my feeling. If you disagree, make your own YouTube channel. I don't give a shit. All right, but there, Marshawn. That's where I'm at. That's where I'm at.
Wow.
That's where I'm at.
Wow.
Do you guys agree or disagree?
No.
Oh wow. Okay. But anyway,
what are we disagreeing with?
Then let's save it for the show.
Okay.
Let's do it for the show. And it's also going to be something we put on the channel for voting and stuff. So it's not just going to be our picks. They're going to vote for the best play. So maybe we'll come in and if we need to step in and there's a tie or something, we'll do that.
Right.
Times loves Kevin Cobb. I actually thought Kevin Cobb was going to be pretty legit. Yeah, there was that. But anyway, thanks for watching, guys. We will be over at Eagles Pinpool tomorrow night for Birds of the Round Table and Armchair Scouts, talking more combine, talking more free agency, things like that. So go check that out. Here's Ryan Reese at Philly Sports PSA, Rob Lange at Philly_Madness. I am Dibs. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Stay awesome.